You're listening to the Trade Show Insights Podcast, Season 13, Episode 5. I'm your host and exhibit marketing strategist, Marlis Arnold, bringing you tools to improve your exhibit results. On today's episode, brought to you by the Exhibit Marketers Cafe, we're talking about what happens after the show, with the lead management, and why you should care. How focused are you on what happens to the leads you gathered once the show's over? Now, perhaps you answered, it's not my problem. I simply hand them off to the sales department or someone else. But you know what? Even if that's the case, you want to take steps to ensure those leads are well taken care of post-show. Because here are the hard facts. Paying attention to what happens after that first encounter with a prospect or customer improves the lifetime relationship you have with them, which means increased revenue potential and repeat sales opportunities. The CMO Council has released 2 reports on customer attitudes and behavior that could shed some light on this topic. Those are called Elevate What Consumers Appreciate and Product Ownership, Lasting Satisfaction, or Painful Distraction. Now, even though the focus of these studies was on the world of retail, we know trade shows are not that different from the retail environment when it comes to attendees shopping for vendors and resources. Now note, the study conducted by the CMO Council and Live Technology was based on a survey of 2,000 North American consumers and 150 marketing executives, both manufacturers and retailers. So here are some of the highlights from the studies, along with my take. 60% of consumers rate their post-purchase experience as underwhelming. Seems like that could be the response of many attendees who visited an exhibit as well. Only 17% of consumers think brands care what happens after they purchase, or that exhibitors care after the show closes. 37.8% say that products are not supported, companies sell but don't service. Kind of like how exhibitors swipe badges with no intent of following up. And perhaps one big reason for the disconnect is that no one is responsible for the post-purchase experience or for the post-show follow-up and lead nurturing experience. The Elevate What Consumers Appreciate report goes on to say that it is often the result of poorly designed processes and insufficient data integration, which makes follow-up an afterthought. And as we know, these days, it's too easy for dissatisfied people to take their business elsewhere or turn to social media channels to vent. But it doesn't have to be like this. In fact, the solution is fairly simple. Have a handoff process in place before the show so that you know who's accountable for the post-show experience. Then create a follow-up system for nurturing those leads along a logical path, which ultimately takes them from prospect to customer to loyal customer. You can even automate much of that process. Now, here are a couple of examples of what not to do based on my own personal experiences as a customer, and also how each situation could have been easily resolved with some automated follow-up. First, software company A failed to notify about an incompatibility issue when upgrading. When contacted for support, they seemed shocked that I didn't know. We posted in our social media channels, they said. So I guess that means all customers are responsible for following their every tweet. Now, a much simpler solution would be to send an email to all registered users in their database, notifying them of the glitch. Then consumables vendor B discontinued several items without warning, meaning no opportunity to stock up on a preferred item while it was still available. Once again, a well organized database can provide the perfect way to reach out to everyone who fits any specific criteria, whether that's what products they're interested in or which trade show they attended. So, now back to those CMO Council studies. What do people want and expect? Well, they want fast response times, 52% said, knowledgeable staff ready to assist as needed, 47%, and to be treated as loyal, 36%. Now, those don't seem like unreasonable requests for companies of any size to fulfill. And I dare say, if you plan to market your business at a trade show, you ought to be prepared to also follow through with the post-show communication necessary to not only win over those attendees, but also to keep them as satisfied customers for the long term. If you enjoyed what you heard today and would like to spread the word about the Trade Show Insights podcast, please take a minute to leave a rating and or review in iTunes. This helps to boost visibility so more people will find the show. Trade Show Insights is protected by the Creative Commons copyright license. You may feel free to share this recording with colleagues or embed it on your own blog as long as it's shared in its entirety and is not used for commercial purposes. To learn more, please see the link in the sidebar of the show notes at tradeshowinsights.com. Well, that's it for this episode of Trade Show Insights. Be sure to check out our show notes and archives at tradeshowinsights.com. You can also connect with me using the social media links or the contact page on the site. I'm Marlis Arnold. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us next time for more tools to improve your exhibit results.